Hello, so I'm just going to show you another simple binding technique. This is called the twist binding. So this is another zine that I created based on the A-level photography exam title, Photography and Poetry. So I decided to look at the poems from George the Poet, so poetry that he's created in 2020. And he is well known for his social commentary, so I decided to link this to street photography. So this is a whole book looking at street photography. His poetry is a lot about the pandemic, so mixing imagery that is based on his words together. So once you have all your pages together, make sure to bulldog them to secure them in place. For this bind, I'm using an embroidery thread. So I've chosen a red to link to my London bus imagery. So the first step is to thread your needle through the first piercing. Like so, leaving a tail in the inside. Okay, and then take your needle through the next piercing. Again, make sure you're guiding it through so that you don't pierce your pages where you don't want them to. Okay, so that's your first one. And then go through your first piercing again. So with embroidery thread, it's really important to make sure that you're not going through any of the threads. So if you are, just pull it back and make sure to move them out of the way. There we go. Okay. And then the next step is to go into the third hole. Okay, so the next step is that we're going to go through our previous hole again. This time, make sure that when your needle comes out that you're going underneath both of these dashes. So that's where the twist comes from. So we'll go through previous hole, make sure you're coming out at the bottom of them. There we go. And then go through into your next hole. Okay, and then repeat that again. Make sure you're coming out underneath it. And then go through the next empty hole. And then come back out of the previous, underneath all the threads. And then go into your next empty hole. So if you just repeat this all the way to the end. Okay, so when you come to the end of your binding, you've got this nice, neat inside bind. You take your needle with your yarn thread still attached and you just go under this dash and then through this loop to create a knot, and then you can just pull it quite tight. There you go. And then you can just go through again just to make sure you've knotted it really nice and tight. And then you can cut your remaining thread. Okay, and then you can just do the same with the other side. So I'm just going to show you a really easy way of adding colour, texture and imagery to text. So I've just typed out the word zine, so this is the word that I'm going to work with, and then I've got some different textures, colours and actually an imagery from Martin Parr. So I'll start with this marbling. So you have to make sure that your imagery, so your layer is on top of your text layer, so just above it. And then holding the Alt button on your keyboard, hover against this line. There you go. And then just click and it fills your text, your type with the image. So this one's quite a nice one. And you can press Command T and make it smaller or even stretch out the pattern fully. So that's quite a nice one. To get rid of it, you just hold Alt again and hover against that line and click again. Okay, so let's try this one now. So this is just a plastic bag that I scanned in. So make sure it's above it and then hover and click. So because of my initial image was covered in white, it's obviously made some of the text disappear. So what I'm going to do is going to Alt and get rid of it. So with my magic wand, I'm just going to select all this white space and delete. And then again, hover and Alt, and then it's filled in some of my section. So what I'm actually going to do is go back to my text layer and change the color of my text. So you could change it to this yellow, this brown, even the red. I'm just going to go for quite a bright yellow. Even this is quite nice. There you go. So if I get rid of that, I'll show you the last one. So this is an image from the photographer Martin Parr. So let's just try that. So you could use your own imagery for this. Command T and then make the image bigger. So that's a really nice way of making your text more exciting. Okay, and then that's the finished book. So you can see your twisted binding along the edge. You could always experiment with choosing a different yarn for your twist, different thread for your twist to create a pattern.